Welcome to our lovely future humans and those who live authentically with intelligent minds, which is why you do know, yes, we do not put science, spirituality, mysticism, or God at odds. That is because curiosity and humility lead the way of those who are intelligent minds. An intelligent mind is an intellectually savvy human being, in case you don't know, who also owns their child parts or the essence of us. I'm gonna treat you like a child right now, which is one of those things that I really dislike. But since some people need this, one, body connected, VBS, two, use your brain intellectually, you do have an ego, so do I, it don't die. And three, when you go and get master's degrees and PhDs and all the bachelors, yeah, I learned about egos. They're very uninteresting. I'm an empowered divine feminine and I have my own empowered divine masculine. I'm a mystic and I am woo. And when I came out, I didn't care about what people said. Actually, I have a story. If you don't know, I'm a co-author of the book, The Ways to God. In my chapter, there's 14 pages, a little bit about Maria and my relationship with God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. I'm a self-agent, and I don't give a shit about your actual subjective opinion, but I do give a shit that you're a human, because emotionally I do cry like a big girl and a big boy, and basically, unlike the cynic who says, I want it to be about what is right, how it feels right, I know that I want it to be a world where it is about what is right, and oh look, you have feelings, cynic. Go own your brain, please. So when I meet human beings who are quite egoic, I'm still mastering the physical plane. I'm an Akashic record reader and I'm an actual smartass. I just choose to not use my time this way, but since it's my community, I can do whatever I want. So the thing is, when I got done with my master's degree, I did want to get a PhD for Maria, not for you, not for my mom, not for society, no. For me, I'm a selfish person. You see what I'm saying? Very selfish. All about me. Is my 3-year-old. Excuse me, come again? You don't believe in God? Sure, don't believe in God. I ain't gonna prove it to you. You don't invalidate me because you don't believe in me. I have a twin. You don't know what it is like to get disowned. You don't know what it's like to be disowned and to be freed from effective realism. It's the most amazing gift that you could ever have. I was 8 years of age. Oh, by the way, I know how people like to talk about their future versions. Yeah, I'm 45.0. Every year I'm going to add it. I'm about to get to 46.0 version of Maria. All of her is here. Oh, it's amazing to be able to explain to you all. So when I met Dr. Daniel Siegel, I got to ask him 2 questions. And in both equations, I got an answer. And I loved it. The first was, I'm Maria. And you can't spank me. It's in my body. No, I told him a bit of my story. And he said, wow, that's really great. You're already a differentiated self. And I said, I don't know the word. Let me go look it up. And it means Maria has her own thoughts and feelings. That's right. You better bet. Who did I tell that she couldn't spank me? My mother. Mother. She did spank me. I went to make my suitcase. She didn't let me leave, but that's called self-agency, and it's called that Maria's not afraid of her mommy because her mommy didn't scare her to shit. So luckily for me, all my angry little butthole still says, you're a buffoon, you morons. Not you, the people who want to tell us that science is truer than spirituality. However, wait for it, because we got a bunch of spiritual bypassers, so I need to talk about that. That's why we have the 5D Mystics Skeptic Nutritionist Diary. That way you can hear about why Maria might be wrong about being able to breathe air and live just as great and dandy thanks to being a spiritual being. Come on, laugh with me. Come on, you can laugh. I laugh. So here's the deal. Body VBS, awesome. Now everything you do, physical activity, diet, you will be amazed. I'm waiting. We're only 7 days in, but I can tell you there's positivity to eating regularly. I might do a live later on, but outside while I'm walking. So with that being said, the scientists who are real scientists, because they're smarter than the smart, closed-minded ones, I was going to say a different word, they know. What do you know? Did you ever walk one day in my shoes? Did I ever walk one day in your shoes? No. Great. Humility. So confidence can come with it. And when you meet dorks and assholes, you just leave it alone because otherwise you're going to become a buffoon like them, which is unnecessary because really obtusity isn't attractive, nor are closed-minded human beings who don't recognize the one thing that I told my teenage boyfriend as he's yelling, no, as we're arguing. Oh, I don't do argumentation. I stopped college, by the way. Other than that, this is social time. I ain't proving to you shit. I know what works. Be yourself authentically. Do it the right way, meaning get transformed first with therapy. Then you're going to have fun here too because personal and spiritual growth are happening because you're growing. inside, a higher self. That's what we're going to talk about next. So intelligent minds, you know why they won't put science, spirituality, and mysticism at odds? Do you know what an intelligent mind is? It's a human being who cares about humanity. And then it's a human being and more who also knows what leadership truly means, meaning a grown-up to set an example. It also means they know humility, acceptance. I'm in communion with God. There's one timber that there's always. God will ensure that all of his children stay humble. Free will is the word. Now, some signs, they don't want it. Some signs say that we don't want to control our own lives, which is why it makes me very funny in my butthole when I meet the adaptive child part people. Yeah, it's not a weakness, it's a superpower. So I won't name the name, but as the words, you don't want to control your life, so you believe in the bigger power. Well, let me think. Cosmos, bigger power. You just switched it up. You got bigger power cosmos, bigger power God. I mean, really, you still don't own two sides of the brain to be able and be a human. With expert yogis know all about darkness. I know how to explain it to you. It's called human secondary consciousness. Hey, for all I know, it's virtual reality. For all I know, it's God. For all I know, it's nothing. For all I know, we are meaningless specks of light. And it doesn't bother me, because what do you do when you wake up in the morning? Don't you think and feel? I know I do. Marcus Aurelius helped me to not cry when I wake up in the morning, because I was like, I don't want to die. I know there's heaven. The God people teach it to me. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Heaven and hell. What was it, Sadhguru? You're right, because I learned about that in my neuroscience, neurobiology, attachment, trauma people classes. Anyone who has hell in their body, yeah, you're going to notice who they are. So it's called self-loathing, gut wrench, torn apart. And they also walk around thinking that we need to have control. It's their left brain. They don't own it. I don't need control. I own this shit. And then everything else is up for grabs. I don't know. Dark matter, dark energy. Please don't implode on me. I hope that I live till tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I know I would miss being alive, but I won't know that I'm dead. I hope my loved ones miss me, but I don't want to die. And God said that I'm good, that I will live a long, long life. That's why Earth is saved thanks to, look, the selfish human being. Oh, look, I saved the Earth. I am a superhero with a superpower. Do you know that there's people who are afraid of me? I'm 4'9". Do you know that there's been people in my energy sphere, and it's okay. I'll act like the whack job. Get the fuck out of my space, you morons. That's how I did it, because they were year after year after year. Instead of ascending and expanding, guess what little 3-year-old angry buttholes who are terrified in their home do? So, FYI, you don't save people. Jesus taught us the way. It's your heart. You get ownership. Open it up and be smart and be humble. But it doesn't mean you lack the sense of humor to spot them. And I get to make fun of 3D, 4D. I'm telling you, I'm making fun of one right now. Oh, if only. Heaven and hell are not geographical locations. They're dimensions of experience. Thank you, Sadhguru. Yeah. So, when people are really great at what they do, the scientists, I love them. The ones who are actually aware of the value that they offer, when they have humility, when they have arrogance and their assholishness comes through every single bit of them, then we have people who do this. We need to prove spirituality like science, and then they don't work together. And so I'm here to say they all work. Science proves things with data. They can't disprove God. As my teenage boyfriend and I are arguing, I said to him, you don't live in my body and I feel it in my bones that it's true. Doesn't mean it's a truth that I'm going to prove, because that's where I'm grounded in reality. So I'm more scientific than a human being who wants to tell me that my mystical experiences and spiritual ones are fake. This is how an empowered self-agent grown-up says fuck you without saying fuck you to an ignorant human being who's obtuse, arrogant, and thinks they know it all, which is what makes me laugh about left-brainers. You don't know everything. You can't handle the unknown. Oh my God, am I afraid? No, because I'm mystic and I'm spiritual and I know all of it. No, and then I can say, yeah, well, for all I know, it's all in my imagination. Look, hey, 3-year-old, are we having a good time? High five. That's it. That's how easy it is to be yourself. 45.0, Maria. We'll see what happens in 46.0. Point is, intelligent minds don't want to be divisive. The stupid minds continue to be morons, as they have the whole floor to themselves and they could be bringing people together. Instead, they want to make a mockery out of those of us who have experiences. So let me tell you, if you're a mystic, you want to hear a story? Here, I'll tell you a story. My first twin flame, I'll never forget. I got a book from someone. I got to the grapevine. I got given the book because apparently Maria has problems with love life. Yeah, I never read that book because I didn't even like the person that I'm not going to name him. I didn't like him from the moment I set eyes on him. I'm like, I don't know, something's off with you, but whatever. I got the book. Thank you so much. Fast forward a couple years after this specific gift, this specific birthday. You know, Maria, when you first told me all that stuff about the twin flame, I thought, that you're really off. But now that I have one, I know it's true. And oh, lo and behold, saga and drama. And I'm like, look, they don't control you. I don't know why you're making such a big deal out of this. This is actually very straightforward. Like, you do understand what the relationship is. Yes? Okay, awesome. Do you love yourself first, unconditionally, with your flaws and imperfections? No? Then you want Terry real. As you apparently are an adaptive child who fights, flees, or wants to fix or save. And those are all codependent people. You ain't an independent lover yet. You're not even independent. You don't know what it's like to be the sad one. So the teenagers who stay teenagers, they're very unflattering, uninteresting, very ignorant, and I like to make fun of them. And then they're divisive. So look, you don't have to believe in me, because believe me, I don't give a shit if you believe in me. If you're intelligent, you know that science, spirituality, mysticism, they can't disprove each other. They're subject matters. And anybody who doesn't know how to use two sides of the brain, I don't want them at HP, because they slow everything down and then they act like buffoons. And they use the platform to continue dividing us, which is fine. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like the world was ever one, this is the beauty of being grounded in reality, subjective experiences, like a grown-up. I won't be offended the minute you say, oh, whack job. Yeah, whack job. You don't know what it's like to have an experience, but hey, let me not point it out to you, because I really don't want to. Because actually, by the way, our relationships with God, those of us who actually have one, we all know what he makes sure don't get in your ego, spiritual bypassers. You ain't it. That's the one thing that you will always be guided towards. The ones who decide to cut people out of their herd, oh look, I guess they failed, yes, miserably, to understand you're supposed to turn the other cheek. Then you're supposed to become humble. You're also supposed to, you don't have to forgive, but you're meant to process the sadness, the broken stuff. It's not broken. It's called you wanted a bond, and they didn't want to. Are you irritated? You want vendetta? What do you think that is? It's a child, 3-year-old with a 16-year-old that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, because you still have it in you. All the poison. It's called the biochemistry of fear. Thanks, Tara Brock. So people who are actually wanting to live life are intelligent minds. People who want to buffoon their way, they like their likes and dislikes to rule them. In fact, it's hilarious because, again, all I hear is control. Sure, I know no, I don't want control. I have ownership. I don't need control of myself. I have mastery. This is the beauty of emotional mental intelligence. And with communion and God, I don't give a shit if you believe in him or not. And I don't give a shit in any of that, which is the whole Lucifer story. What I'm very upset about is that people who have platforms are not leading children to the right places. So, science, spirituality, they don't cancel each other out if you have two sides of the brain that work. Thanks, Dr. Dan. When you have one side of the brain, the left doesn't like that this touches, excuse, and you're confused in science, spirituality. No, I'm not. I'm bringing them together. No, because I'm a mystic too. That's what people who compare themselves to do. I have fun with it because I learned teenager talk when I was a kid. I actively worked my way through being able to figure out how to completely be silent on purpose, because I have better things to do with my intellect than to be with people who don't know everything and don't admit it. And that's called they have effective realism. And just wanted to be aware that about what is right, how it feels right. Wow, you're a grown man. Please get over yourself. I'm 45.0 and growing. Get over all of the insecure people. I don't want them here. They're not fun, because see, curiosity has us learn more. Curiosity has us being successful. Curiosity has us learning more. Curiosity has us being successful. The teenagers need this. They already have bad examples with all the entertainment that is out there, because they're all dragging around those pain points as the one form of expression. These artists, I'm like, okay, wow, seriously, just get out of the low frequency just long enough to stop talking about dark night of soul, ego death, and learn to go to Pat Ogden and then say, I don't do the rest of me, I'm alive now. And you can whine about that somewhere else. That's why I will say to you all, I have compassion, yes, and I have love. You know what I would want to do right now? Eat like a monster would. A specific number of individuals. And in this moment, one person came to mind. I don't even know what they look like, but really, if only I could. That is the exact thing I would do right now. Like, oh, there it is. Oh, look, magical wand worked. And it's because children lose their essence for reasons that in our world, like here, we can heal with therapy. In other places, they don't have the possibility to have warm food, warm home, warm anything. And I'm thinking of those children, you see? So do you think that me doing this talk makes me feel like I'm doing some great amount of... No, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So there you go. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of going to the open. I don't want a bear. I don't want no mountains, please. Nope, no trees. I come from the future. I'm very happy, very much happy, yes, behind my screen, because that way you also don't have the ability to punch me. Just in case I say na 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 na, because that's what happy people do when... No, because I'm making fun right now. No, I had this lovely theatrical experiment, and I was like, wow, I would never do that in real life, because come on, that would be so mean. Someone poo. There you go. So, okay, intelligent minds, they have fun. They don't actually treat people like stupid idiots. And anybody who is just lecturing you, please, my gosh, don't you get tired of it? I swear. I mean, sometimes I'm sitting through things. I'm like, I know they have golden nuggets. Shh, be quiet, 14-month-old. Come on, they have golden nuggets. You know you can't learn everything if you don't hear them. Okay, I'm going to listen. They're going to get those golden nuggets in here. Look, they're coming in. Yay. Shh. Okay, that's how it works when you like to learn things, you see? And that's why it's a secret. It's a secret cauldron full of golden nuggets. And then we go with our clairs, and there we go. Let's throw them at them. Oh, let's have fun playing snowball. Smurfs, attack! And we attack Gargamel. So in the meantime, while the rest of the world, while 3D, 4D continue to do whatever teenagers who are adapted child park people who are very much envious, jealous, spiteful, and they pick at each other do, we're going to have fun because the world keeps... No, the show must go on. Yes, the show keeps going on. You see, this is the song that doesn't end, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it. Does anybody know Lamb Chop? My younger sister. As I babysat her, this one song, oh my gosh, we heard it like a million times, and now I've memorized it. Like, head, shoulder, knees, and toes. I can't do that. Head, shoulder, knees, and toes. Eyes and ears, mouth and nose, head, shoulder, knee. Have fun with me. Okay, so in the meantime, again, as I was pointing out, intelligent minds, they know not to put any of subject matters against each other, but what is really most important is that they know that they haven't experienced what we experience. But for spirituality people, we don't need to prove God. You don't prove anything that's invisible, which is why if scientists want to actually get us on board, they might learn to stop disrespecting us with making it seem like we're buffoons. Or they can just know that that energy is really annoying, and we will learn from them what we will learn, but we will know that they have no humility, confidence, or common sense to actually recognize if you don't have an experience with God, science, please let it go. I mean, really, why would you dismantle that which is someone's faith? Unless you don't believe in it, which means, though, if you don't know how to stay grounded in reality, I don't need to believe in you either, because you're a moron who doesn't understand how subjective experience works and how if you don't experience something, you won't ever know it. Like shame. I don't know shame. I'm shame-free, which is why I can talk like this. I have no shame, and I don't shame anyone because I ain't God. And God taught me very well how to be humble. So did my mom. And I respect that because I never walked one day in your shoe. Guess what my 3-year-old is doing right now? You never walked one day in my fucking shoes. You don't have to see me. Ciao, ciao. There's a door. My confidence didn't get eroded. That's how self-agents work. When they own their nervous system, self-agency, bonding, and certainty. The only thing that will scare Maria to shits is physical. Then that's it. Because bonding is like, okay, I got disowned. I was rejected at 4. I got 3 twin flames. What do you want? Oh, people who believe that I'm a whack job. Sure, I have panic attacks. Actually, my doctor, she was so nice. When I told her about it, she's like, just start waving your hands like you just don't care. I was like, I do that all the time, but in my room. But hey, thanks for the advice. And she's like, it doesn't matter if people think you're a whack job. And I was like, little do you know that I don't smoke shit. And my friends who make fun of me for not doing drugs, you don't love me for real. You want me to be like you, and I don't like to be like fools, because a fool with a tool is still a fool, and I ain't a fool. I'm a fool on a fool's journey. And I'm getting all the way to the end. This is the song that never ends, fool in the world. And then I get to do Dharma. Every year, 12 months, we're starting our new cycle. Join us here at HP, the 5D Collective, Luminous Warriors. That's right. We know how to use our body in ventral vagal state. We love ourselves first. That's why we're selfish, but we use our prefrontal. So again, intelligent minds know how the future works, and I do know the Arcturians, the Lemurians, the Pleiadians, sacral, all of it. It's all real for us, and I'm an Akashic record reader, so yes, when we're learning from the halls of that which is Akash, it's fun. It's more fun when you bring the human elements in, because that's how you get the spiritual elements to be alive. Because again, I'm Maria. What's your name? Great, now use it. So when you have downloads and channeling and intuition, all of it, it's not overwhelming, and there's no evil monsters, because even if they ever remotely came near me, no, they didn't. I got taught who Lucifer was. I'm 20. I say, hey, God, no Lucifer, cowards. That's it. Then I got to become a mystic with my spiritual experiences and my clairs, although I was downloading already. And then what happened was I said, wow, we're all energy, and that's it. So when someone says bad Jojo and Juju, I'm like, it's energy, you moron. That's not bad or good. You obviously don't know how to use frequency, sound, ting. So whenever something's low around me, it's more like a buzzard. Get the fuck out of my space. That's all I did for 5 years, and it works. Oh, the second question I got to ask Dr. Daniel Siegel without having to mention to him all my woo-woo-ness. I said, so Dr. Dan, when I walk into a room, no, I didn't say that. I just said, I'm very sensitive to people when I am doing stuff and mentoring and podcasting and going out. And so, you know, how do I work with that? Maria, he says, I think you're not differentiating enough. And don't write down notes because I don't remember word for word, but I understood what he said. I said, okay. Then I learned that our intellect can grow when you're using your brain the right way. This is why. So when you're using it the wrong way, your amygdala grows, and that's wrong for me because I don't need a person who doesn't know how to be responsive. Reactive means you are, what's the word? Going to be susceptible to someone looking away, eroding your confidence, which makes you a risk. You are a risk when you are leading with shame defectiveness because you're an insecure adaptive child part who thinks you need to fix people or that something's broken, and so you're being not objective, which is why, like I said, intelligent minds don't put science, spirituality, or mysticism against each other because they work together. They don't disprove each other, like the physicist Thomas Campbell points out. So the only ones who get to basically be at odds are the ones who continue to do what they want to do and use the platform, and we get to have fun here, and I get to make fun of them, and you can make fun of me because I make fun of me too. And again, I left college because I was done with it, but I also chose not to go get a PhD because I'm like, I don't do inspiring human potential to prove to people how to be themselves. I do it because it can help people to know, be yourself and live the best life ever. And then the ones who want me, it's because they want to do more emotional intelligence and mental intelligence practices. Not because you need to heal your child parts. No, you go to therapy first. That's where you transform. Then mystical experiences are awesome. And then you'll stop believing in monsters because you won't have them inside of you with a low frequency. So when I see the Fakos, again, it's spiritual bypassers. They don't know discernment. They don't know equanimity. They don't know love. God is that frequency for a person who hears clearly. Maria, yes, God, don't judge your brothers and sisters of human suffering, a waste of your fucking time. Buddha's making fun of me in the corner and he's sitting under his tree. Where's your future, Buddha? Jesus, stop smiling at me. Okay, come on. All of you ascended masters, are you done? I don't want to channel you. This is how it works. I'm going to have to channel them at some point, but it'll be for our tears. They get to laugh at me right now, the people who won't be joining us back. The tear people will get to interact with whatever you want. They really don't want to leave me alone. So this is the part of why it's really fun. I loved it. Once I became a mystic, I said, wow, now I can help all my brothers and sisters. Nope. That's not how it works. Get up, Cusco. Get up, Cusco. Get up, Cusco. Okay, look, Cusco, I can't keep you up. Okay, I'm walking, Cusco. I'm Cusco. I'm gone, and Cusco's not Cusco. He's Yzma or Diego's family from Ice Age. I use cartoons, and actually it's the leader of Diego's family who ends up not well because, you know. So, Gargamel in a corner, please stop crying. The Smurfs are going to come and sure you have fun. That's why God is good. He allows all of his children to play, even if it's the most shittiest of stuff that goes on. And people who think this is called, what is it? ignoring that we have bigger problems in the world. No, I'm not ignoring it. I just know when I see pathologies on a wheelhouse, and then I remember made for the people by the people. So at the end of the day, self-help, it's for self-agents who want to do emotional intelligence, mental intelligence practices. I'm here as a mentor, content creator, and podcast host. So you can become a paid subscriber. We practice stuff, and then there's also readings and spotlights. And then we have some content coming up for the 8th and 9th chakra. And truth and balance is really fun when you're doing dharma, not karma, even though we also build karma. Oh, and we use words very lightly. I fuck it up. I change it up. I don't even know what I'm saying sometimes. And that's because, as I shared with you all yesterday, words don't mean shit to these people who don't know how to use them well. They just like to point out something like the teenage boyfriend. You only believe because you're afraid of death. I'm not afraid of death. I don't want to die. Those are two different things. And as he's arguing with me with effective realism, I get to know, you know why he was arguing with me? Here, get ready. Ready to rumble and roll? His friend, his closest friend, killed himself. And so he blames God. Like my good Christian Catholic upbringing people told me, they all blame God. All the ones who are suffering life. Then when it comes to source and mystic bypassers, they all say, we're divinity. We're divinity. If you were divinity, you'd bring all divinity together. I see that you don't want all divinity. I see that you say you're the source, they're the other source, and you're keeping tabs on what frequency they're on. I wonder what source thinks about that one while cosmic karmic balancing is at play. Excuse me, I can step back as God chimes in to remind me again, we don't need you, Maria, to play judger and caster, because that's exactly why you know if you're in communion with God and source. You ain't it. I don't save you. That's not the point of why we interact with each other. Nope. I come across you, you come across me. You're all angels. You're all brothers and sisters. And hey, guess what? I know how to forgive. In fact, Jesus and I have a moment. I'll never forget that moment. And as I'm talking and venting to God, and I'm upset, and I'm a lot of things, I'm like, I know I'm going to find out what this is at the end of everything. Oh, I did. Because an empowered divine feminine doesn't have tragedy or get tested by no masculine. Nope. God keeps us away from all people for good reasons. It's not your business. But I know. So it wasn't me that was being protected. It was the other way around, and it was thanks to me being kept far away that I didn't do something that I would regret for the rest of my lifetime. Because see, while there is something I can kind of regret, if someone says you have to have one thing you regret, Maria, I have it here. But this other thing that I'm thinking about, I would have regretted it for the rest of my lifetime because I wouldn't have been able to take it back. And that's something that matters to those of us who care and who are attachment trauma educated. And we know that nobody decides to have trauma in their body. So when all is said and done, that's why science is people who ridicule spirituality and mystics. It's not funny, but hey, so you don't have to see me. I know that I'm going to listen to science because it builds data. And when I meet some egoic asshole, I leave it alone because they're going to have some golden nuggets to give me, because that's what information is. While for spirituality, the smart ones who are true spiritual, we're not competing with our stories, and we're not competing with words. And anybody who is going to be all upset about something, are you trying to keep it all boxed up in one little group? Good, have your group. I don't want to be a part of that one group. I have lines. I saw the lines. I want to draw a little bit outside the lines. What is it to you that I'm drawing outside the lines, Mr., Mrs., or whatever specific? That's where the left brainers are at. Okay, so if you can't handle a little bit of out of this, it's just like handle scribbly, handle that which doesn't fit the structure. Structure is guidelines like those rules from Pirates of the Caribbean. And the people who want to make an argumentation, tell them, I'm not in school. If anybody wants, actually don't. Leave it alone. That's what I learned to do. You leave it alone, because people who want to ignore the fact that they don't live our experiences, they ignore the fact that they're not mystics or spiritual. They don't know God. They don't know angels. They don't know what they don't know. That's it. You leave it. They can call it fake. It's okay. If you're a functional child adult, you don't need reparenting. So you can stand in front of somebody as they tell you you're not real, or as they shut the door right in front of you. You don't need Terry or Patrick Chan. I'm telling you something from experience. I don't need you to stand up for me. I know how to stand up for myself. And the minute you shut that door, that's cool. Obviously, it means that you're an adaptive child part, immature human being who doesn't know how to accept differences. That's okay. I understand that, because there's plenty of things that I don't like in the world either. I wish I had a magical baton, but God won't give me that. What fun would that be if we all got to have our way? 3-year-olds, how's it going? So with that being said, perfection does exist. The ones who want to suffer life, they can continue suffering it. The ones who learn how to use their prefrontal cortex understand what true strategy is, what true structure is, what true words mean. And when I saw grown-ups fail miserably at the word leader, I was like, yeah, I'm good where I'm at. I'll be a buffoon all day long, because when I was growing up, you told me that you knew what you were doing and you were doing it for these, you're not doing any of it. You're all hypocrites, liars. I don't like liars. My mother taught me what to do with liars. If you can't say something nice, say not, this is a child right here. I won't talk to you. You lied, you manipulated, and I don't. No, it's not. I don't trust you. Now I know the grown-up words. Adapt the child part. Are you done with your pathology, acting it out on a wheelhouse? I have better things to do with my life than to be in the presence of a 0-8-year-old who didn't heal themselves. If one wanted to be that level, that would be weaponizing psychoeducation in front of a person, which I would not do. And if you do that, that's not nice. It's, I'm healing, how do you tell them? That's not nice. And you're not a healer, as you don't heal them. And how dare you talk to somebody like that when you're a professional? What you could have said was, thank you so much for sharing with me all your information. I'm not a therapist. Here's some names. Like, that is what it means to help people if you're a professional who cares about what you do. If you're a professional who's wearing a title. Are you wearing the right title? I know cocaine addict lawyers. I know people who are up inside and out. They're doing amazing. I know Dorian Gray. I know so many poor unfortunate souls. So sad. Ursula's. I mean, seriously, when you see mystical spiritual bypassers, I'm like, it's not really... They're growing in numbers. I mean, I knew 3D, 4D was going to hang around, but wow. Well, then again, they do have the platform. I see it. It's instead of writing in your diary and going to the small plaza, now we get to just see them all here. That's it. And so, again, you don't need to point them out. They're a specific frequency. Here at 5D land, we all hang out together, but we're all 5D frequency. See what I'm saying? So we get to say, okay, adaptive child part people could get healed. They don't want it. So while they're fighting amongst each other, we're going to make sure to point out intelligent minds, again, science, spirituality, mystics, we come together. We don't fight it off or fight each other. And science does know what they're talking about. They do know stuff. The stories they can't dismantle, but I mean, come on, if they say it's fake, it's not like it's a big deal. So again, that's what a grown-up knows how to do with a child inside who doesn't need reparenting. The essence of you stays alive. And being grounded in reality is very important, as otherwise you end up like that one movie where they need to spin that little thingy to figure out what plane they're on. I don't need to do that. I do trust egoic scientists. That's why I keep them in my feed all the time. I like all of it. Doesn't matter how, how belittling their words get. They are not pleasant, but it's okay. It's something you can put up with. It's a little irritation. And again, God wouldn't force himself upon belief, faith. That's the one thing. So the ones who want to talk about conspiracies, sure, keep talking. I know where we come from. So ignorance was part of our history. Now we're not as ignorant. And when people are leaders, they're supposed to bring us together, not fight amongst each other to try and have one group be the more faithful ones. But then again, we have people who don't take their kids to doctors. So, it just makes sense that they have a museum that unteaches Darwinism. I have met people who have said things like these. Because I am a good Christian Catholic, I waited till marriage to fuck someone, basically. But I did everything else with the person that they waited. And I said... come again. I was brought back to my teenage years, and I'm like, okay, really? Wow. So I'm gonna say, sure, you are quite interesting, and you're doing what? Okay, yeah, teenagers are not gonna listen to you. That's not a way to help them. They're gonna be like my teenage friends who were uneducated on what actually happens, and that's because of the bees and the birds. And a lot more. So no, I don't want to be the one who's teaching. That's not my subject matter of expertise, not at all. In fact, I still remember giggling when we got taught all of this stuff. So nope, I have no interest in having children or teenagers be around me for those topics, subjectively speaking. But I am happy to see professionals who do really great on YouTube at explaining things. And I'm happy they have access to that stuff, because unfortunately there are parents who don't know how to talk about it. There are those who deny it. And then there are people who grow up and think this stuff is still like, okay, we need people to know what is the truth and what is not, which is why, again, science is important. And so we don't all do it the correct way, but we will try our best to say, okay, kids, it's still important to understand what real scientists do. They get together with their peers. They have quantitative data analysis. I'm not it. I'm pseudoscience woo lady. Please remember that. I fuck it up, forget it, and confuse words. They will always be around each other for reasons called they want to learn more, which is great. It's great that we have those who are committed to their stuff. That's why we put up with the bullshit. God is okay with it. You can't disprove God again. So God's not afraid of being disproved. You know what I mean? That's the part of why any institution that's just saying, follow my book to T. You can follow the book to, if you need that type of sense of safety, that's called, you need that for your left brain. I get it. I've seen it. It's a man who told me about, well, you know, bad Jojo Maria, bad juju. I've seen demonic possession, so I know it's real. And I've seen decentralizing the self and explained it. No, Patrick McNamara's explained it. And I've seen a lot of what he explains, and it's real. Because, yeah, I got a bunch of people who are not demonically possessed in any way, shape, or form. They have states of selves. My friend, the one who has like 5 different personas, well, he's finally settled in. So for all I know, it's not really the 5. It's just like based on moods. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait for his next cycle to come about. Meantime, actually, I don't know if that'll happen, because he seems to be withering away like anybody else who doesn't learn how to get their body in the ventral vagal state. Unfortunately, it's not a very fun thing to have bad resilience. And so Dr. Amy Apigan is out there for people who want good resilience eventually. And then there's another woman who's also out there, but the people like this person who's like, I don't need anything, I'm doing great, Maria. This is another one. And they definitely are doing, well, they're having fun. They are having fun. So again, you don't get people out of hell unless they want to get out of hell by walking up a ladder with a good therapist. And once they're integrated, again, then they join us. So really, it's fun to know that the future is saved because of scientists. And I'm not upset. I said, hey, God, so listen, they don't need us anymore, the spiritual ones, because they figured it out. The scientists, the good ones, figured out how to get the kingdom of God and the seed of enlightenment awakened into every human being body. So the kingdom of God is Jesus. The seed of enlightenment is Sadhguru, and I'm not joking with you. An integrated brain, a person who owns a sense of self, securely attached and untraumatized person. Thanks, Dr. Daniel Siegel. I love you, man. You might never see this, and you might find it odd, but I do. He's my hero. He's one of my heroes, and actually I think he's going to be a hero next to Jesus, because that's how awesome it is. Thanks to his hand model, I know how to explain to you the brain. Thanks to his IPNB framework, I know how to explain to you the brain. Thanks to his PDP framework, I know how to tell you it's spot on. And thanks to his little bit of input with me, I know how to differentiate better. And that helped a lot, because there's a bunch of people from my oversoul and our entire oversoul who have committed themselves to being the stagnating pieces of shit that didn't have to go down that path. I mean, really. But are they shit? No, I can make flowers with it always, like my facade friend, because you don't judge people, because, you know, if this is the best they can do in this lifetime, it's the best they can do. They chose emotional, mental, physical mediocrity. That's how I'm going to bring it to you, so that I can, at the very end of it, say, okay, ego, you ready to do the right thing and get yourself up? Or not, because it's not ego death or dark night of soul. It's actually called bilateral vertical overall integration, and it's actually real. Neuroscience, neurobiology proves it. So it would be nice for scientists to respect spiritual mystics. Yes, it would, just because that would be humility and confidence and an actually integrated grown-up brain. But there's a bunch of them who write a bunch of interesting books and do a lot more. So I'm not going to complain, because thanks to them, I have proof of what is quantitative and then what is qualitative, and I get to have fun and bring you a bunch of different stories. And the difference is, I'm telling you, they're stories, and they're mixing up the data and the stories. I'm not giving you a defined anything. If you want to learn defined stuff, you go to school and you learn with the smart ones, because they know what they're talking about. When they don't know, it's okay. We keep learning. Yes, we make mistakes. If you want to believe in conspiracies, go for it. Everyone makes mistakes. So I know a bunch of people want to think of corporations, organizations, I've heard it all, and I do understand. Thing is, I have a master's degree in international relations and diplomacy. So I studied a bit and a lot more, thanks to also my bachelor's of political science. And I do know history, geography, to just admit. There's data, and my journalism teacher taught me how journalists transformed from all of that, which was good information, to pink news. So I don't even buy their bullshit, because tainting it with subjective words here and there and everywhere is what it means to have pink news versus give me 1, 2 data. No adjectives next to it, no big titles, I don't care, propaganda or whatever you want. They used to give us actual information. Once this thing of what bleed leads came about, and so here's where, yes, I mentioned Netflix, it's also Amazon, it's also TV, all of the people who are owning the media companies, all of it. Social media doesn't differentiate because you got a bunch of other people who are now with their TVs. So essentially, that's why, again, science, it's good we have people who are always going to say, here's what data means, because we need that. That's what keeps us grounded in reality. And they get to always come together. So when someone removes themselves from those academics, I don't remove myself from hearing them. I removed myself from being with them to talk to you about a mindset that works for you. I did it on purpose because I'm helping the people who are self-agents, not the academics. I don't want to prove to the academics that which is what I'm talking about. And actually, Dr. Daniel Siegel, he proved it for me. And so do a lot of more people. Your sense of self, own it. But again, see, even here I can say, some people, they don't believe in Dr. Dan or Bessel van der Kolk or Stephen Porges, who's still proving it. So, free will. Here's one option for you. Here's another. And here's why God is always great. And here's why Akash Source Anima Mundi, cosmic karmic balancing. And here's why any savior complex spiritual bypass person will not notice you are not needed to save humanity. You are playing a bigger role than that which is of what you are. You are merely but a vehicle, and vehicles share information, but it is not powerful, because I don't have any power over you. No one has any power over any human being on the face of this planet. We share a planet, and you will do one of 2 things. If you're open-minded, you will have fun at HP and anywhere else where you're assimilating and learning things, because that's what a self-empowered, functional child, adult, enlightening person does. If, on the other hand, you're an adaptive child part of any type, I don't like, and that's where shutting off or yay, so people who lead that way, yeah, that's not fascinating. So they will prioritize their likes and dislikes. Based on that, they will follow a leader and basically say, yep, everything they're saying is true, I like it. If they don't like it, everything they're saying is bullshit. And so those are people who are not really doing anything of spiritual or personal growth. They're just looking for somewhere to call home, like the flat earthers. And that's not what IHP is about. That's why I'm closing it out. So I know the truth is that there's data, as scientists will present, and I know what they are, a handful. And then there's a bunch of subjective stuff. And we're not divisive about it because we're intelligent minds, you see? So I'm not proving science, spiritual, or spirituality or mystical experiences. I'm saying we all will be able to talk about things differently. And God, he doesn't need to be proven. And that's the sad part about God or Source or Akash, when you meet the spiritual ones who's like, we're going to prove it. And how are you going to prove it? You're being as divisive as the scientists who go against each other for mental health and all that other stuff. Divisiveness doesn't help people. They don't care about what works. No, they care about their likes and dislikes winning. That's why an adaptive child part is self-serving, because they just want to be the winners and they want there to be a loser. And that's how when someone says, you don't pick the weak side. Oh, I pick the weak side. It's all of them. Or are manipulable like the back of their hand because they don't own their 14-month-old. And they don't notice how their likes and dislikes have nothing to do with what works and what is real or subjective. But again, humility and confidence, there's a specific timbre to it. And when you meet it, you'll know it. And when you meet the opposite, you'll know it. And at that point, you've got a choice point to make. Are you going to close your ears off to that which is information just because the person who's in front of you is a grandiose asshole and thinks they know it all, a bigger shot? Or are you going to be able to be humble, confident, learn because you're functioning a child adult who knows, hey, they got something to say. Excuse me. You're confusing science spirituality. I got curious as I got older because the only time I was a teenager was when I was a teenager. Maria 45.0 version. I can't wait to get to 46. And as I grow older, that's how it works. So you don't think of people who treat you and belittle you because you are mystic, spiritual, or God. This matters. It doesn't. I don't feel all alone. Oh no, I came out. No, it's actually something different. Again, I met a grandiose asshole who doesn't recognize that they don't have an experience. and they're wanting to call it buffoonery. But remember that we have people who, for example, a lady who is healing from schizophrenia, her teacher didn't send her to get help. So, oh, you're channeling the angels. And this woman in her interviews, like, that was not her place to do this. I could have gotten helped. So she's upset at that teacher who said she's channeling angels or whatever it was. And I will say I agree with her, because she is better now with medicine. And she has a kid and stuff, so she can actually live a life. So that's the part. It's not black and white, number one. But if spirituality, sciences, mysticism, people got all together, which the intelligent ones do, we support each other. We don't fight each other. But when you meet scientists who act like assholes, that's where there's a problemo. But when you meet people of spiritual who are assholes, that's a problemo too. So let's just remind each other. Discernment is not about likes and dislikes. It's wise, good judgment, because you're equanimous, calm, and centered, the loving, oxytocin gene hormone. So again, God, source, Akash, when it comes to all of that, it's perfection because of something that I can experience and explain and expand on. It's not part of this topic. It is perfection to have quantitative data analysis people, because they have the capacity to epilepsy. It's not the wrath of the gods. Demonic possession. No, we don't have demonic possession. We have people who need help. We have ways that we support people. Anxiety, depression are not caged, boxed words. These are words that exist, that are technical. And not enough people just talk about these topics in ways of saying, sure, we can all be irritated. They're all words. They're just words. And it doesn't make it a big deal. The ones who want to make it a big deal, again, I told you yesterday, I used to make a big deal out of things until I saw a bunch of people not walk a walk or talk a talk, and hypocrites are annoying like fuck because they're also egoically ignorant, and they don't notice that they can't fix anyone. No one's broken, and if somebody is broken, they have a therapist. They can't save anyone, and nobody needs saving unless there's a fire that is burning in a building. And we hope to not be there. When you see people living their life out in fantasies and they're just continuing to copy bullshit scenarios, you just think, are you serious? It's called fantasy stage. So it's very easy to see what distortion is. It's an adaptive child part human being who does not know how to wield their 14-month-old, and therefore they have an in and out group, and that's where they go. They head to their leader that they like, and then everybody that they don't like is... And so we get more ignorance, which is where the suffering is not only about that. It's that the suffering is about people who don't learn to use the prefrontal. Like a Zen master who says there's no enlightenment because he has laundry. That was a very bullshit conversation, because he's trying to tell you watch out for charlatans. But then he said there's not anyone who can navigate the enlightenment frequency because there's laundry. And now I'm like, oh, so you cry and you don't know how to basically just sit open-ended inquiry and strengthen yourself and get curious about your tears. Oh, well, that's a left brain thing. As left and right, we can sit, cry, and we know it's going to be okay, because, I mean, really, first world problems, anyone? So that's how it works when you're a self-agent who does self-help. And emotional intelligence, mental intelligence, again, it's not a race, it's the authentic higher self. We all get to live that if we want, and we value, therefore, self-reflection, mind, and mindset. And we're going to talk about that one a little bit. So the valuing of it also involves meditation, but you can meditate while doing a lot more. So in the meantime, again, intelligent minds. We don't put science, spirituality, mysticism, or God at odds, source, whatever you want to call it. Curiosity and humility are in the lead. It means you're confident because you're okay with people using whatever fucking words they want. And I do enjoy cursing here. I don't curse in people's faces as much, and sometimes it does come up. But point is, words matter only to, again, convey something, and we do confuse them, and we also have subjective relationships with them. And so the people who want to ignore that feelings are part of the equation are the ones to ignore that they have feelings. Them being blocked off from themselves is not my problem, and it's not their problem either. Again, you continuously get the opportunity to choose. Are you going to be yourself, authentically connected, ventral vagal state, the real deal, or lack self-reflection, awareness, accountability, and regulation, and then therefore calibrate to a grandiose asshole's nervous system, or your own, because really you're still your own. The minute you have the choice point, you get to recalibrate. That's why Dr. Dan said, Maria, I think you're not differentiating enough. As when you're differentiating, you use the two prefrontal cortexes over here, your brain is integrated, and you get down and in humility and with an open heart, body connected. I just picked up on a frequency. I'm present. Thanks, Dr. Dan. I'm present because I'm curious, open, accepting, and loving. His acronyms help me remember stuff. And then, besides being present, I'm attuning to you. So I tune to you. And then I can resonate because I can continue talking to an asshole. And then I trust because I can continue having fun with an asshole. Excuse me. Look, at the third time I said, how about you tell me what the end of this conversation is? And he told me, he's like, yep, we're on the same page. There you go. So thanks for chit-chatting. I might send you some stuff. I didn't send him any stuff, but it's a fun deal to be confident and empowered and enlightening. Join us here at HP and have a good one.